There are few issues that animate conservatives these days more than immigration and voter integrity. Bring those two issues together, and you have a bill that a conservative lawmaker from Central Illinois has proposed. WGLT's Eric Stock reports on the proposal that an immigration advocate says is unnecessary and harmful.
Dan Caulkins' district includes much of rural, eastern, and southern McLean County. The three-term Republican lawmaker from Decatur won't be on the ballot in November. He's retiring. But Caulkins says he's worried about other candidates whose names will be on the ballot and who will be casting those ballots.
If you have an organization that is going around, particularly going around these housing areas where where we have these illegal aliens and registering them to vote, I think that makes it pretty obvious.
Is there any evidence that this is addressing something that's currently ongoing now in Illinois?
I think it is. Unfortunately, this isn't going to get even heard before this election. But, going forward, I think this is an issue that I would hope everybody is concerned about.
But is there evidence that is going on currently in Illinois where non-citizens are being registered and they're actively being sought to register?
I don't know the answer to that question. I guess, do you lock your house at night?
When pressed further about where ineligible voters are being signed up, Caulkins cited Oregon, where several hundred non-citizens have been mistakenly registered to vote since 2021.
So if it's not happening, if people aren't involved in this, then what's the harm? Why not make it? Why not put the little teeth in it? Why not make a deterrent?
Voter fraud does happen, but cases are rare. The Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank, tracks voter fraud across the country. It reports 20 improperly cast ballots in the U.S. this year. Many were for false registration, buying votes, or voting multiple times. All but 4 led to criminal convictions. Illinois has had one confirmed ballot fraud incident since 2019, a duplicate primary election voter in Macon County in 2022. Charlotte Alvarez is executive director of the Immigration Project, an agency based in Normal that offers services to immigrants across central and southern Illinois. Alvarez says she's talked with thousands of immigrants over the years, and she makes a point of asking all of them about voting.
When I ask clients if they've ever voted in a U.S. election, they have a very clear, oh, no, we would never response to that question. And sometimes people are even shocked that could be something to be asked because it's just seen as something that's not a viable option for folks who are not citizens.
Alvarez says she's never heard a non-citizen share that they have voted. Those few cases we mentioned earlier haven't stopped some on the far right from claiming voter fraud, and attempts to commit voter fraud are rampant. Here are 2 examples on Fox News.
An illegal immigrant caught voting 5 times in the U.S. is sentenced to 8 years in prison. And
Former President Obama's key advisor is heading up the operation of tasking our federal agencies to actually get votes from illegal immigrants.
Are you saying you have proof that the Democrats are trying to recruit illegals, migrants, to vote in our presidential election? Is that what you just said?
The voter integrity push gained steam in Illinois in July after the state started to issue driver's licenses for non-citizens who were granted temporary legal entry into the country. Illinois has a motor voter system where you are automatically registered to vote when you get your license, but it does not apply to non-citizens. The Illinois Secretary of State's office sent a letter to local election officers in early July to explain new safeguards they put in place to ensure only eligible U.S. citizens can vote. Skeptics argue that otherwise there's no way to verify a voter's legal status, and they are correct. The head of elections in McLean County, Republican County Clerk Kathy Michael, says she hears lots of concerns from the public about the threat of illegal voting.
We're getting a lot of that right now, a lot of questions about that. Well, how do you know, Kathy, when they register to vote, they're a citizen? I said, because they tell us they are.
Anyone signing up to vote only needs to attest they are a U.S. citizen. That's it. The state does not require any identification, such as a driver's license, because that's long been considered a hindrance to voting, a so-called poll tax.
There's a box that they check on the registration form, and that's it. And I'm not being critical or otherwise. Personally, I think there should be more proof to prove you're a U.S. citizen now more than ever.
So it sounds like voter registration is all done on the honor system. Matt Dietrich, a spokesperson with the Illinois State Board of Elections, says not exactly.
There's a tremendous disincentive to a non-citizen who is in the United States to registering to vote and voting. And that is that if they are caught, they will be deported.
Dietrich says anyone who votes illegally, even by mistake, and later applies for citizenship or asylum or for a green card, immigration officers will check to see if they've ever voted or registered, and they will face felony charges and deportation. That takes us back to State Representative Dan Caulkins' bill. It would make it a felony to knowingly help a non-citizen to cast a ballot illegally. Matt Dietrich with the State Board of Elections says he can't comment on pending legislation, but says there's already a law for that.
If they're knowingly out there trying to sign someone up, and if they are knowingly encouraging this person to commit voter fraud, which is knowing that they're not a U.S. citizen, is committing a federal crime.
Dietrich says that would be left to prosecutors to consider. He says there's also no evidence in Illinois that this is happening.
I'm not aware of any case where you've had a third-party group going out into the field, going door to door, and telling people, well, just sign it. Don't worry. If you're not a citizen, go ahead and sign it, or they'll never catch. I've never heard of that happening.
The bill Caulkins filed also calls for felony charges against any non-citizen who votes illegally. He says he plans to remove that from the bill since that's already a felony. Again, offenders are deported. Caulkins called that an oversight.
And we failed to catch the part that about, it's already a federal crime to vote. That was an oversight on my part and their part. Nobody actually caught that until the bill was drafted.
And Charlotte Alvarez with the Immigration Project says she'd prefer to see lawmakers spend their time addressing real problems. She says the proposal may create its own problem.
Legislation like this in an election year could have this dampening and chilling effect that would reduce voter participation and turnout of people who are eligible and able to vote. And I think that's unfortunate.
Alvarez adds she's not aware of any organization targeting non-citizens for voter registration. I'm Eric Stark.
Matt Dietrich with the State Board of Elections will join the McLean County League of Women Voters for a talk on election security and misinformation. That will be Tuesday afternoon at 5:30 at Moses Montefiore Temple in Bloomington.